Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going through my ranking for some of the championship signings that have happened so far and my ranking for some championship appointments. Let's get into this immediately, and starting off with Bobby Clark, who was transferred from Salzburg to Derby last season. He had a really good season at Derby on loan, and he clearly has a lot of potential at 21 years old. And for £6 million, I think this is a really good deal from Derby, and I expect it to be a very good transfer for now and in the future. I'm going to put Bobby Clark into A. I think this is one of the best signings we've seen so far for sure. Then I'm on to Kieran Trippier, who is signed for Wolves from Newcastle. What a signing this is for Wolves on a free. He's going to be incredible at championship level. He's lethal from dead ball situations, and he's got a brilliant cross on him. As well as this, he'll add experience into that Wolves side, which I think they need to add in right now. I think they're lacking that. And if this was a signing that Wolves made in the Prem, I probably would have given it a B. But because it's in the Championship, it's got to be an A. This is one of the best pieces of business so far this summer, for all of the reasons I've just stated. Then I'm on to Florentino Luis, who is signed for Burnley from Benfica, and it's a big fee, £20 million, a championship record fee. And the reason why this has happened is because it was an obligation that Burnley had to pay. But despite Burnley paying this fee, I still think this is a very good signing as Florentino Luis. I thought he struggled in the Prem at points last season, but I think in the Championship he's going to be much better. But because of the record fee, I'm going to put him in a high C. I expect him to be a top Championship midfielder. He's got all the attributes that you want and the physicality to do well in the Championship. But because of that fee, I don't think I can put him much higher than C. Maybe you could have ranked him as a low B. Then I'm on to Sam Tickle, who is transferred from Wigan to Bristol City for £1 million. Had a great season in League One last season in goal, one of the best League One keepers, and I expect him to perform well for Bristol City. He's still a young player. I'm going to put Sam Tickle into B. I like the signing. Then I'm on to Andre Brooks, who is transferred from Sheffield United to Norwich for around £8 million. Clearly a very talented winger and a great addition to that Norwich front line. Andre Brooks is a very good player, and he's great at taking on fullbacks. And if you look at their Norwich attack, they have options like Mo Toure up front, Ali Ahmad, and then players like Schwarzer and Makama, as well as Andre Brooks. Norwich are really starting to build a great attack, and I expect Brooks to be an important part of it, and he's still a very young player at 22 years old. I'm going to put Brooks into B. I think this is a good signing from Norwich. Then I'm on to the next player, and it is Sam Field, who is transferred from QPR to Norwich for £2.5 million. A decent option to add into the midfield, most likely a squad option, and it just feels like some steady business from Norwich. I'm going to put him into the C category. Then I'm on to Sarmiento, who's transferred from Brighton to Middlesbrough for £3 million. He's clearly talented, and he's had a lot of Championship loans, but he's struggled to make himself a regular starter at sort of a top Championship club, which is what Borough are aiming to be. And this exact problem happened at Borough on loan, and I don't see this changing now. It's a permanent deal. And another concern about Sarmiento is his end product. Clearly talented, but he does lack the end product. I'm going to put him into D. I'm not that convinced about this one. Then I'm on to Carl Laren, who is transferred from Mallorca to Southampton for £2.5 million. I'd say this is a shrewd piece of business. He played well under Eckert in the second half of last season, and I think this is a good option for them to make permanent for around £2.5 million. Last season, he offered physicality up front, and he scored 8 goals in 16 games. A very good record. And for these reasons, I'm going to put him into B. I think he's a good option up front for Southampton next season. Then I'm on to Daniel Perez, who's transferred from Bayern Munich to Southampton for £7 million. It's a big fee to pay, but I think this is a great transfer from Southampton. He was outstanding on loan last season. And I think he actually showed he's at Premier League level when he was on loan at Southampton last season. I'm going to put Peretz into A. I really like the signing. Then I'm on to David Watson, who is transferred from Kilmarnock to Bolton. And this was for £1.7 million. Looks like a highly rated and talented player when he was at Kilmarnock. He's still only 21 years old. I'm going to put David Watson into C. I don't mind the signing at all. Then I'm on to Sam Greenwood, who is transferred from a club in Poland to Bristol City for around £3 million. Previously, he's been at Leeds United. And look, he gives you a decent option into that midfield more, I think, as a squad rotation. And he's also excellent from set pieces in terms of delivering them in. And he's technically a good player. I'm going to put Sam Greenwood into C. Then I'm on to the next player, and it's Carl Joseph, who's looking like he's going to transfer from Hull to Middlesbrough for around £5 million. This hasn't quite been confirmed as of recording, but it looks likely. A really hard-working attacker who can play a variety of positions. This should suit a manager like Hellberg. He likes his attackers to be able to occupy different areas of the pitch, but also you need to be able to press high, which Carl Joseph definitely does. And last season he delivered 8 goals and 5 assists in 44 games, and I would say this is a good buy for around £5 million. I'd put him into the B category, maybe the lowest side of B, but I think B is definitely deserved for Carl Joseph. Then I'm on to Raul Jimenez, who is transferred from Fulham to Wolves on a free. What a signing from Wolves. This would be a good signing in the Premier League to make. He's previously played at Wolves, so there's an emotional connection for the fans. So good for the fans to have Raul Jimenez finally back. And the 36 games last season in the Premier League, he scored 9 goals and got 3 assists. If he stays fit, he should score a minimum of 20 goals in the Championship. I'm going to put Raul Jimenez into A. What a signing that is. Then I'm on to Ben Davies, who's transferred on a free from Rangers to Bolton. And I think he provides some experience into this Bolton side. Last season, he struggled at Oxford due to injuries. But before this, he had an excellent season in League One with Blues. I'm going to put Ben Davies into a high C. I don't mind this transfer at all. Then I'm on to the next player, and it is Matt Ingram, who is transferred from Oxford to West Brom on a free. Clearly just a backup keeper. I'm just going to chuck him into D. Then I'm on to the next player, and it is Ingleson, who's transferred from Sheffield Wednesday to Stoke. Last season, he was definitely one of Wednesday's better players, but that's not saying a lot considering the situation Wednesday were in, and this transfer was on a free. He's a strong, powerful midfielder who suits the Championship. I think he provides decent depth into that Stoke side. I'm going to put Ingleson into probably a low C. I don't know if he'll start for Stoke, but I think he provides you something off the bench, and he can start the odd game when needed. Then I'm on to Tyreek Arconte, who is transferred from Radiers to Millwall for £2.6 million. Looks like a good signing for only 2.6 mil and could be brilliant business. Last season in the second division in France, in 32 games, he scored 14 games and got 3 assists. I think this looks like a good deal for Millwall, and he is only 22 years old. I'm going to put him into B. I like the look of that signing. Then I'm on to the next player, and it is Jensen Medcalf, who was transferred from Bradford to Millwall for around £1 million. The fee is undisclosed, but that is the rumour. He's a 21-year-old midfielder with potential that's had a good season at Bradford. For now, he'll provide depth into that Millwall side. I'm going to put Metcalf into C. Then I'm on to the next player, and it is Ethan Galbraith, who's potentially transferring from Swansea to Stoke for around £10 million. As of recording, this transfer hasn't been completed, but what a signing it could potentially be. He's had a brilliant season with Swansea, and for Stoke to get someone like this, they would have done really well, as he really is a talented midfielder who still has room to grow at 25 years old. For me, he is top champ quality at least and has the potential to be Prem quality. He's also Championship proven as he was at Swansea last season. I'm going to put Galbraith into A. I really like that piece of business. Then on to the next player, and it is Milan Schmidt, who is transferred from Go Ahead Eagles to Stoke for around £4.5 million. I don't know a lot about him, so I'm going to have to base this a bit off stats and a bit of research about him. So he's a 6'3" striker who played 19 games the Eredivisie last season, and he scored 6 goals and got 2 assists. That's a pretty good record in the Eredivisie. I'm going to put Smith into a low B. I like the look of that player. Then I'm on to Callum Elder, who's transferred from Derby to Lincoln City. I think this is a decent left back to bring in, someone that probably is of a lower championship quality, and I think he's a reliable defender, and he's someone that will add some experience into that squad. I'm going to put him into a low C. I think it's alright business from Lincoln. Not game-changing business, but still decent business. Then I'm on to John Solis, who has transferred from Girona to Blues for around £6.5 million. When he was on loan the second half of the season, I thought he was decent, was John Solis. Probably isn't justified, that sort of transfer fee based off his first 6 months, but I think he clearly does have potential. I'd put Solis into a low C for now, as he is still a young midfielder that has room to grow. Then I'm on to Gibson Yar, who is transferred from Volendam in the Eredivisie to Bristol City for around £1 million. Once again, I don't know a lot about him, but he is a 6'5" defensive midfielder, which a lot of people in the Eredivisie that watch it have rated quite highly, and they were surprised to see him go to a side like Bristol City. So based off that information and the fact that he looks like a player that could really suit the Championship, I'm going to put him into a low B. Then I'm on to Josh Griffiths. I'm going to put Josh Griffiths into D. He's just going to be a backup keeper, so I think that's absolutely fine. Then I'm on to some managerial appointments that have happened. So let's start off with James Morrison, who has taken the permanent job on at West Brom. And I do like this appointment. I thought Morrison did an excellent job with the Baggies at the end of the season, went back to basics in a 4-4-2, and he actually got the best out of that side, which other managers were failing at doing. So I like this appointment. I'd put Morrison into B. I think he's going to have a reasonably good season at West Brom, and at minimum he's just going to stabilise them into at least a mid-table championship side. So I think B is fair. Then I'm on to Cesar Pixito, who has joined Wolves from Gil Vicente, and at Gil Vicente last season he finished 6th in the Portuguese league. I was surprised to see this, as Gil Vicente aren't really a side that you'd expect to finish that high up in the first division. Apart from that job he's done some more jobs in Portugal, and he's been alright as a manager. I just think it's a decent appointment. I'm going to put him into C. If anybody knows anything more about Cesar Pixito, I'd appreciate letting me know. Then I'm on to the next manager, and it is Michael Skibala. Now, Skibala did an excellent job with Lincoln, playing a really direct style of football. And last season in League One, they won the league with 103 points. It was some achievement. 29 games unbeaten at the end of the season, and I think this is a very good appointment by Bristol City. But my only concern around this appointment is the sort of style of players that Bristol City have. Bristol City, I don't think, really have a squad right now that really suits the Skibala style of football. But I think with some good transfers and a willingness to spend, I think this appointment of Skibala could work out. That willingness to spend could be a potential issue, but I'm not going to put Skibala into B. I like it. Then I'm on to the Italian manager that Watford have hired. I'm not 100% sure how to say his name, but previously he's been at Palermo, but where he was most successful was at Empoli, where he got his side promoted to the first division in Italy, which is Serie A, and he's also been at Sassuolo for 2 or 3 years. It looks like an alright appointment, but most likely with all Watford managers, they'll probably be sacked after 6 months. But he's a manager that is apparently very good at developing young players. I'm going to put him into C. I don't know a lot about him once again. Then I'm on to a manager that I do know a lot about, and that is Tony Mowbray, who's been in the Championship and in England for a long time, and he is now the manager at Blackburn. His last job was West Brom, where he was sacked after a mid-table finish. And look, I think Mowbray can be a steady, decent manager at Championship level. We've seen him do this in the past. So I expect him to do a decent job at Blackburn, maybe steady the ship, but my main concern around Blackburn this season is their willingness to spend and actually bring in players that Mowbray can get the best out of, because right now it looks like Blackburn could be in a lot of trouble next season. But in terms of the actual managerial appointment, I think it's a steady appointment. I'd put him into C. And then finally, I've got the Lincoln badge, and that is because they have hired 2 first-team coaches, Chris Cohen and Tom Shaw. They've just gone with Skibala's assistants instead of going out and appointing a new manager. And look, this is quite controversial. still, this doesn't happen a lot. It's very rare that you would appoint two coaches as your sort of leading staff instead of a manager, and it's also rare that you just hire from within. That's how they decide to replace Skubala. I don't mind this idea, however, but because I think it's important that Lincoln keep the culture that they've already built, but also keep that style of play, and the two assistants will know it best after Skubala. So I really don't mind this idea, but there's still an obvious concern around the lack of experience of hiring two assistant coaches, and it hasn't really worked in the past. I'm going to put this in a 2C. I think there's risk to it, but I don't think it's the worst idea as people have been making out. But I may well be wrong because it could turn to absolute crap because of the risk in it. So that is the end of this video. Please let me know your thoughts on this ranking. Where do you agree? Where do you disagree? And if you enjoyed this video, it'd be great if you could subscribe to the channel as well as liking the video.